This is a special day. This is a special day because this is our first AI day. And I am very excited. By the way, I never get to say this again, first AI day, because I'm sure we'll do other AI days in the future, which will likely be even bigger and better, but they will not be the first. So today is our first AI day, and I am very excited. I hope all of you are as excited as I am. Yes? Yes? Awesome. Look, it's not about building algorithms, right? I know all of us do that in our jobs, for our projects. It's about the possibilities. AI is not a buzzword anymore. It is like the electricity in businesses today. It's about making better decisions. It's about building products with AI. In fact, it's about reimagining our roles as professionals. And I'm not just talking data scientists and engineers, it also includes all professionals. Rekha's team in HR, finance team, Pratap, and I'm sure there are a bunch of other people from finance, our legal team. All of our jobs will be reimagined as part of what's happening in the last 2.5 years, and it's only accelerating every day, right? So each one of us, every one of us has to be part of this transformation. Our clients are asking smarter questions, expecting more from us, right? So we are doing the same. We are pushing ourselves. We are coming up with new capabilities. We'll talk about a bunch of new things that we're going to launch because we have to. Because we don't want to be riding the wave or just observing the wave. We want to shape this wave. We want to shape the future of AI. And like I said, we all have to do this together. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves that, and we want to make sure that we are not just reacting what's happening, but we are creating this future, especially in the enterprise world, because we are very much primed to do that. Shom and I will talk about a few examples later, but we are doing some really interesting work for a number of our clients already. And I just got a call from one of our chief business officers while driving here this morning. Looks like we sold 2 or 3 new ones, right? So today, our first AI day, think of this as our launch pad. Our launch pad as individuals in AI, our launch pad as an organization, as an AI-first organization. Let's build this future together. Where's Arun? So I'm going to say Tredence, and you're going to say future along with everybody else, okay? So Tredence, we are going to build the future at Tredence. Tredence.
Okay, together, everybody will put your hands up, okay, clap and say future. Let's go, come on.
Tredence. Tredence. Tredence.
One last time, let's do this really loud. I want to hear really loud sound, okay? Shub, sorry to interrupt, go ahead.
Okay, Tredence. 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 Love the energy, love the energy. Because we are not just going to ride the wave, we are going to lead it. Tredence is going to lead it. Who leads AI? Who leads AI? Tredence leads AI. Tredence leads AI. And we are all going to do this together. Yeah? Awesome. All right, so we're going to go into a few slides. Can I have the kicker? This is the event that we started yesterday with the hackathon. By the way, I want to welcome all the students. Do we have here some of them? Welcome, folks. I know the Tredence people and the students who are participating in the hackathon. They have been on this since 9 a.m. yesterday. And where do we stand as far as the hackathon is concerned? We're done with the first round. It's done?
The Shark Tank, there's a Shark Tank kind of episode. The top teams will present to the panel from 1 to 3.
Okay.
1 to 3.
Okay, fantastic. It's a really big deal for us. We had a number of our clients, current clients, potentially future clients who have been with us. They participated in the event yesterday. They'll be with us during the day today as well. Analysts from Gartner, Forrester, IDC, ISG, HFS, and others, they are here and they want to learn more about us, how, like I said, how we're going to shape this future. Lots of demo booths. I'm hoping that you've been to a bunch of them. I've been to a few, and I was so excited. I mean, it's hard to actually know all the really cool things that are happening across the company. So if you walk around those booths, you will know, and hopefully feel as excited as I am. Our ecosystem of partners, the strategic partners we work with, Databricks, Snowflake, GCP, and a bunch of others. Lots of exciting things are happening with all these partners as well. And see, the even more exciting thing is, we are obviously keen to partner with them, but these guys are actually equally keen to partner with us because they feel a nimble, agile, forward-thinking company like Tredence is actually a very important partner for them. So they are willing to invest with us. They're giving us lots of awards. There's a big award that's going to get announced in a few weeks in Vegas in Google Next, where I can't say too much because I've been asked not to. But yeah, you'll get to know soon, right? And of course, we talked about other things. So let's keep moving. But these are all the logos who are going to be with us today. And they were here with us yesterday as well. I'm going to skip this because I think all of you know who Tredence is. This slide was meant for analysts yesterday. Actually, let me just touch upon one thing. I know the last statement about revenue. Just 5 years back, 2020, we were a $30 million company. This year, we will be a $250 million company. So we've gone from 30 to 250, 8 times, more than 8 times, which is about, I think, 51 or 52% CAGR in 5 years. Phenomenal. I feel like I'm patting my own back, but great job, everybody. So, I'm assuming all of you have heard of this. We were created. Shashank, Sumit, and I wrote on a whiteboard almost 12 years back that let's create this company to address this last mile gap in analytics. Right? What does this mean? It means a few different things. Sorry, guys. Okay. There's a little bit of a lag, so I'll keep going. So it means the gaps in data, right? The data, organized data, analyzable data is still a problem in most large companies. Close to 3/4 of this data, close to basically more than 75% of the data is still not in a format in large companies which can be analyzed, right? Legacy systems, the amount of, there's a term called technical debt. Some of you may be aware what that means, but basically all the legacy systems that still exist inside the firewalls of these large companies, the companies spend a lot of money, more than 40% of their budget to maintain those systems, and they are antiquated systems that don't talk to each other. Antiquated BI, same problem. We have a term in our industry called death by dashboards. They are, there was a client that we were recently talking to. They have more than 26,000 reports, but less than 1,000 are actually used on a day-to-day basis, right? And this is a problem that puzzles a lot of large companies. And sometimes unintegrated systems. Even if you have a great dashboard that is presentable, it's available on a format such as your mobile phone, but the output is not integrated with a downstream system where you're actually trying to make the decision. For example, let's say you have a bunch of leads, sales leads, you're trying to prioritize, you know that the leads, rank order in a certain way, but the information is not integrated with your Salesforce. So although you have the intelligence, it's not available for the end user in this case, which is a seller, a sales rep, to take action on, right? And these are the problems. These are the problems we call the last mile adoption problem in analytics. Sorry, I skipped to the next slide, but Sumit, Shashank and I, when we started the company, this was the mission that we set out to address. And over the last 12 years, obviously, the kind of tools we have now, the kind of service offerings, service lines that we take to the market have evolved a lot, but the underlying gap is still there. The underlying gap that we are all looking to address, right? And we continue to work on. This is one of our clients. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but we've worked with them. We've been working with them for close to 2.5 years now. One of the largest retailers, global retailers, more than $100 billion in revenue. They had very similar challenges that I just talked about. Anybody here from the 7-Eleven team? We have a few, okay. Great job, team. I mean, so without going through each bullet here, let me just share one anecdote. So sometime, I think about a year into the project, their CEO, we were in his office, and so we took his loyalty card, and they have a 7-Eleven store in the same building in their headquarters. So we made a purchase from that store, and then when we went back to his office, that transaction was available for him to see within 5 minutes. And this may sound like, what's the big deal? But this is a big deal, guys, for these large companies, right? Previous to this change that we made, it was taking about 2 days of lag for that transaction to be available, to be seen and analyzed in some downstream system. And what happens is once you figure out these underlying foundational challenges, you largely mitigate the garbage in, garbage out problem, right? You build trust in the data. The organizations, these large organizations then starts trusting their own information instead of being worried about multiple versions of the same truth. And then the machine learning models that you start building, in this case, we build actually we did not build a new one. We took their demand forecasting model and improved it. We were able to improve it by almost 500 basis points, 5 percentage points, right? And that led to a significant savings savings because they were able to reduce the spoilage, right? Spoilage of because this model was built at a store at a category level, right? And these things matter because everything else, the technology, the machine learning models that we build, everything that we do on the tech side is meant to address these problems at the end, right? Because if you, otherwise everything else is meaningless, right? Everything else is a means to that end. Because when the CFO says that, yes, I see these meaningful improvements in my bottom line, or I see this meaningful expansion on the revenue line, that's when it really matters. Otherwise, it's just a cool technology that some of the people in IT gets excited about, but it doesn't translate into real value. And again, going back to our mission is to deliver these business outcomes. It's not to build technology. Of course, we build technology to get to that outcome, but the goal is to drive these business outcomes. And then, of course, this example that I was referring to, 7-Eleven, we started in 2021. And then 2022 November is when the world changed, right? OpenAI announced GPT 3.5, or the more B2C version of ChatGPT in November, and the world changed, right? All of us started getting used to the idea of prompt engineering, and then eventually RAG and fine-tuning and pre-tuning and post-tuning and all of those things. And this really opened up a whole new world of opportunities for us. Fortunately, when this happened, two things happened in Tredence. One that was already happening, the other that happened. About a month after this announcement from OpenAI, and I would like to say we coordinated with them, but that was not the case. The two events were disconnected, but we raised a pretty large round. We raised $175 million from Advent. And by the way, the Advent guys are here. They're going to join me on an investor panel right after this session. They invested in us because they believed in this future along with us. Yeah? And then the other thing that happened is we have a team in Tredence called the AI COE team. Anybody here from the AI COE team? Yes, I see Ankush there. Anyone else, Ankush, from your team? Okay. This team was already working on large language models, right? Some older versions called BERT, etc. But they were already working on those large language models. We were already working on natural language-based query bots. In fact, there was one client called ABS. We were already building a solution that looked very similar to a ChatGPT, right? So hence, we were able to, so we were not behind these technologies. We were actually ahead. We were already preparing ourselves, and we were able to take all this and we were able to start thinking about scale, because for large enterprises, the concern typically is not, how do I do a POC here and or the opportunity is not about doing a POC here or a POC there. It's about how do I take this capability and make it real at scale? How do I build something in production that can be institutionalized and actually drives meaningful value sustainably over several years in large volumes, right? And that converts into millions of dollars of savings or top line. Yeah? And I'll show you one example of this. Again, anybody here from the Mars project? The Mars project in CPG? I see Jagdish raising his hand, although you recently joined, by the way. Thank you for coming back. Jagdish is one of our boomerangs. Anybody knows who boomerangs mean in Tredence? So boomerangs, Jagdish is one of them. There are several others. Thank you, Jagdish, for coming back. They are, they worked in Tredence, they then left, went somewhere, and then they came back. And I have a special, I really thank you for coming back to this mission. But anyway, so let's go to the Mars story now. Thank you, everybody who have been on the Mars project, because you guys have been doing something amazing, which has been acknowledged and recognized by the client. And I will show you a video as an example of that. Should I just click it or? Okay. Okay.
One of the world's largest consumer packaged goods giants is rewriting the industry's role.
Give us a second, guys. The video is not showing up. Yep.
The company partnered with one of the world's largest consumer packaged goods giants is rewriting the industry's roles. The company partnered with Tredence to develop transformative GenAI capabilities for enterprise-wide deployment. Within 6 months, the GenAI platform evolved from a proof of concept to a scalable solution, overcoming the inefficiencies of siloed approaches. It offers the foundational building blocks needed to scale GenAI solutions with advanced observability, cost optimization, policy guardrails, centralized prompt store, and more. So, how did the platform take shape? Tredence built the GenAI platform on 4 foundational pillars. These pillars support GenAI-powered tools such as text, image, and reporting solutions. Scalable GenAI platform provides the flexibility to switch between multiple LLMs, allowing companies to select the optimal tools for each task without being locked into a single solution. The LLM Gateway optimizes cost and performance by dynamically switching between models and tracking key metrics through an advanced observability layer. The library provides role-specific prompts tailored for branding and marketing, while the guidelines store enforces AI policies. Then, auto-prompt refinement tools optimize content to ensure consistent, contextually accurate responses, preserving our clients' brand voice and speeding work. platform's FinOps dashboard gives the company real-time visibility into usage and costs, tracking data across applications, models, and users. As the company scales thousands of models, improving observability is more important than ever. The platform enables comprehensive, real-time monitoring of model performance and quality. With the Observability Console, our clients' teams can monitor critical metrics. Since cross-functional teams use the platform, it offers contextual personalization. User responses are tailored based on their profiles, historical data, and organizational guidelines. In addition, the model selection agent intelligently identifies the most relevant model for each user inquiry, whether generating content or creating analytics. The GenAI platform has transformed the company's approach to AI, reducing development timeframes and generating significant cost savings.
Let's go back to the slide. This is a big deal, folks. And we all have access to ChatGPT on our laptops and our phones, and Perplexity and other tools, and we feel why is it a big deal? You just take the same thing and building it for a large organization like Mars, but it is a big deal because that journey from being a tool that's available to us on our personal devices and making it real in the context of a large enterprise, that is a very big deal. Things can go wrong. Governance, right? How do you make sure? I mean, when we all learned the term hallucination in the enterprise context in the last 3 years, right? Because of course there were plenty of jokes on WhatsApp, but in enterprise AI, you cannot have hallucinations. You cannot have that computer making shit up. Right? When you ask a question about your sales, it has to be actual, it's accurate information. So governance is very important. Right? Governance not just in making sure there is no hallucination, but also making sure that the information it's relevant, it's timely, data security and other concerns are addressed. Responsible AI, which is another big deal, you cannot have bias in the information that you're sharing. Cost is a big deal because you have to run these systems under the budget that the CFOs have planned, right? In this case, I'm trying to go to the next slide. Some of these metrics will show up. But we were able to bring the cost down to under 6 cents per query. It's a big deal because once you're able to get to
One
that...
of the world's largest consumer...
Sorry. Now go back to the previous slide. Go to the previous slide. It's okay. Keep going. Okay. Arun, you may take this and figure it out. Well, I keep talking. So cost is a big deal because these systems have to scale, right? So yeah, that's what we did. I mean, again, our AI COE team in partnership with our data science team, they realized that the model that they were using was not scaling from a cost perspective. So they built a small language model, right? And Shub, you'll talk about small language models in your session. So to make the cost, to bring the cost down, because when they were initially using the foundational models and trying to do all the prompt and fine tuning and RAG, etc., it was not getting to that point. So I'm very, very excited. Adoption is another big problem. When these new systems get rolled out, not enough users are on those systems, and then after a while, after the initial hype and excitement, it fizzles down. Fortunately, it's not happening with the system that we built for Mars, right? In fact, the number of users are growing every day. Here are some stats. And the client in this case was so excited they actually did a public webinar with us, which is on our LinkedIn. Ravindra Patil and the client and Forrester, we all did it together. Okay, all right, so now something else happened in the last 12 months, right? We progressed from generating content, AI generating content for us, text and videos to agentic AI. So what does that mean? I'll get through this slide quickly, and then Shom will talk about what it means for us at Tredence. But what does it mean? Two things happened. One, we went from large language models to reasoning engines, reasoning models, right? O1 and then O3, and of course, I'm sure all of you have read about DeepSeek R1, and then there are many others like that now in the market, right? The reasoning models takes this paradigm to a whole different level. When you are not just trying to predict the next word in a text, but you are actually problem solving. You can do math problems. You are thinking. You are thinking. Second, these new pieces of software, agentic agents, can act on your behalf, right? So now you are not just thinking about insights, you are thinking about actions that you can take. And then third, it learns on its own. It progressively gets better and better because it is reflecting, right, with human in the loop. It is retaining the knowledge and information. It's retaining the memory. And over time, like a human being does, it gets smarter and smarter. And there are many analogies of where agents are as of today in this world. But the most interesting one that we've heard is, the agents today are like smart interns. Very hardworking, intelligent, but not very experienced. And then again, we know that we are in very early days. So what does this mean for Tredence? Because the founders, all our executive team leaders, especially Pratap, our CFO, we are starting to think about our own business model, what it means for us. Right? Because this can translate into headwinds for us. Right? Potentially, a client tomorrow may say, hey, you need to do this piece of work with fewer consultants in the team. So how do we prepare for that future? From a headwind perspective. But what I'm really more excited about are the tailwinds, right? This actually opens up a whole new world of opportunities for us. These agents can not just make us more effective and efficient as professionals, but we can take this capability to our clients and make them prepare them for the future that they are also trying to reimagine for themselves, right? So with that, I'm going to invite my good friend, our Chief Strategy Officer, Shub Mohanty, who's going to talk about how Tredence is preparing for this new world.